Let's go, drinks on Dusty, let's start the show. Drinks on Dusty, coming in hot, coming in to blow up the spot. The guests be picking, what we be drinking, we don't know what Dusty is thinking. We are here to have a good time, see where the convo may just climb. Sit back, put your drinks up, go on y'all, fill up your cup. Drinks on Dusty, let's go. Come on y'all, start the show. Oh no. Woo! Fucking piece of shit.
It's a good start.
You're a piece of shit. You know that?
Am I?
Yeah, you're a piece of shit.
What would make you say that?
Because I don't know what the fuck we're even doing. I don't even know why we're even doing this. I have nothing.
No?
I don't know what to talk about. You were just being an asshole. I don't even know what we're supposed to be drinking.
What do you mean? Are you not prepared at all?
I'm always
I gave you everything.
You gave me everything? Oh, should
Every
we talk?
single thing.
Should we? So let's. Kid, I hate you. You suck.
I mean, do you want to go through it now, or like actually go through it on the podcast for content? Because I gave you a lot of good stuff there. Okay, I sat down.
Okay,
I was
I guess
creative.
It took you all of like 10 minutes to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think? How long do you think it would have taken if I was honest? Do you think I would have done it?
I would have done. You'd be like, fuck that, dude. I'm not doing this.
But
shit.
I'll tell you, even if you're not prepared, I am prepared. All right, I have.
Wow.
Oh,
You have
yes,
a list?
Me and Betsy spent an hour, 2 hours or so coming up with a few ideas. A few hard-hitting questions, just some important little segments, so that your audience would be fortunate enough to get some good content for once.
Oh yeah, because my audience doesn't ever get good content, man.
Exactly,
So
that's what I'm saying.
They don't know. They don't. It's just a bunch of bullshit. That's all
Absolutely.
it is. All right, everybody, welcome to Drinks on Dusty. I am your host, Dusty, drinking shit, and today my guest is fucking Alex Wolfe.
Your guest is fucking Alex Wolfe, huh?
It's fucking Alex Wolfe, a sarcastic.
I am so far gone, apparently, that I didn't even know that.
You didn't even know that? You're so drunk.
Apparently, there's a hole in my chair.
There's a. Alex is a fucking. We went to college together. How much younger are you than me? Are you fucking like 2 years?
A couple of years, yeah.
A couple of years,
like that.
We met doing a show called Antigone, right? Antigone.
Yeah. You might remember I played Soldier Number 2.
You did play Soldier Number 2.
Yeah, they almost came up with a name for me. It was close. I was right in there,
But it just didn't fucking make it. Is that Betsy walking around?
It is.
Hi, Betsy.
She'll be on. She has a couple of her own segments on here because I figured I was gonna need at least 2 pee breaks for all of this shit that we got to cover. So she's gonna come on, do a little interim shtick, maybe a couple of commercials, sell some stuff that we're selling. We're big into the essential oils, the doTERRAs, all of that good stuff.
This show's gonna fucking suck.
It's gonna be beautiful. Are you wearing a hat? What are you doing?
I'm wearing a little Christmas hat for you. A little Packer.
Oh, that's good. It's good that you're in Packers gear. We have a whole little segment called it's number 4 on here. We'll get to that at minute 40. It's called Packers failures from years past.
Oh my god.
Alex,
I don't know what the fuck we're even doing here. But Alex, you're a writer, you're an actor, you're my friend. You are one of the funniest. I think I've said this about Joe, but you are actually one of the funniest people I know. And I do know that when I was texting people about you, they were like, he's literally the funniest motherfucker I know. So you have that going for you. But how are you fucking doing, man? What are you fucking drinking? Because I didn't know what to get. But what are we drinking?
I tell you what, based on what I gave you, what did you end up purchasing?
Well, I bought just a whole new bottle of whiskey.
Oh, good.
I knew you're a whiskey guy, but I also just been drinking beer while I've been fucking waiting for it. So I have a Goose Island right now, but I have whiskey and I have vodka.
That's what I got. Did you find my brand?
Huh?
Did you find my brand?
I didn't find your brand. Your brand fucking oh yeah, everybody. So Alex's fucking brand was I exclusively consume beverages made with 1 part dried oxbow flour, 2 parts rose water, a standard handle of Jim Everson's exclusive Daughter's Impregnator whiskey, aged in the backseat of a 1998 Toyota Tacoma for at least 3 months.
1 month being June, and topped off with a medley of fresh fruits and herbs grown myself in an old boot. I didn't find that, Alex. I did not find that.
It's getting a lot harder to find a 1998 Toyota Tacoma. I tell you what. And you got to age it during those 3 months. Like, it's in the first half of the year, too. So you got to put the whole year. It's an investment you got to do.
It's an investment.
You want to know the first real joke?
Yeah, tell me.
After everything I sent you, I'm drinking rum.
You son of a bitch. You fucking suck. So this episode's just going to be it's going to be called Rum, and I'm not even fucking drinking it because my asshole guest didn't want to tell me what to get. But
all right. So, and I think that'll bring us into our first segment here. Dustin, thank you for joining me on today's exclusive edition of the Drinks on Dusty podcast, Are You Smarter Than an Infant? Where Dustin answers trivia questions that Dustin ought to know the answer to, and even an infant probably would, but we'll see, won't we?
Oh, God, we probably will.
All right. It's a one-question thing, so it's all or nothing right now.
All or nothing. Okay, all
right.
or nothing.
What is the proper hand safety distance when Dustin is operating a table saw?
3 feet.
No, Dustin should never operate a table saw. That, I'm sorry, you have lost.
Fuck.
You are not smarter than an infant. Fuck. Thank you for joining me on the Drinks on Dusty, Are You Smarter Than an Infant challenge. We will check in later in about 10 more minutes for section 2.
Hey, thanks. Hey, fucking thanks, man. See, that's funny because I actually was in charge of all the fucking saws and shit. When I was in charge of all of that, showing people how to do it. But no, I shouldn't fucking handle one ever. I almost cut my fucking finger off on one table saw once.
I mean, everybody I know that's ever worked with a piece of equipment first starts off with the, like, you gotta be real careful. Here's how I almost died.
I remember once I was working in the shop at Wesleyan, and then I was just like, you know how like you would set like the wood so you could just easily cut the same length every fucking time, and you're just like going through it. So I was cutting through it, and then I wasn't looking, and then I cut down, and then I have a scar on my hand, but I started to cut my hand and then on my finger, and then realized I was doing that, pulled it back up. I'm bleeding everywhere. And I didn't want to tell Bob. I was so fucking afraid of telling Bob, the master carpenter, because I used to call me a fucking idiot. So Brittany was here, and I went up to her and I was like, Brittany Gossett, for anyone that doesn't know who that is, everybody probably. Brittany Gossett, I was like, look at me. I'm gonna show you something, and I need you to help me take care of this, okay? Because I'm gushing blood, and I'm just like, okay, Dustin, what's wrong? And then my skin is like peeled off. It did not look good. And she's like, oh, I'm like, don't do that. I need you to go get me fucking shit, Band-Aids, whatever, because I want this cleaned up before Bob fucking gets back. Okay. So yeah, I probably should never operate a table saw ever fucking again. Alex, so for the listeners who don't know who the fuck you are, for the 3 listeners that I have, could you tell?
I gave you a conservative 8.
You did
when
give
I
me a
was
conservative
insulting
8.
you earlier.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that's probably more like 3.
Hey, I checked up on you. I mean, what is at least 64 people watched one of your YouTube videos. 65 after I clicked on it. So it's good to be.
Hey, I got some good. Some of the YouTube videos they were like over 100 and stuff. Joe's like just, over.
You know, it's a beautiful chance for a cis white male like me to feel like part of a minority for once.
This episode's just gonna be me getting ragged on, and I fucking love it. Can you tell?
Our relationship turned to that. There was a point, like, I respected you for a second because you were like taller and you knew what was going on, and
for
like
just 1 second, it was when you didn't know me. You
for about a second, yeah. And then I was like, oh, like he gets it. And then at some point it changed, and I've just only insulted you since. And I think it was when you were nice enough to invite me to one of your parties once.
You think so? I think it was probably after Antigone. I can't even say that fucking show's name right. But I think, yeah, that's a good, I think as soon as I start to get to close to people, I become that like, oh, you're just going to say shit about me. Cause I'm like easily fucking like, oh yeah, I just like take it. I just love having that camaraderie with somebody. I think it's the funniest shit. Those are the best friends that just make fun of you fucking all the time.
You have to.
But yeah, probably at a party, but that fucking joke when he came up was like, I need you to take a step back and literally fuck your own face. And we would do that all the time. And then you just became, I just, why is this dude talking so much shit on you? I'm like, yeah, it's fucking Alex. That's what he does. It's not cool. But it probably was at those parties. That's when I started to get close with anybody. It was parties, getting fucked up. And then we become close. And then your real personality shows out and you're a fucking piece of shit douchebag. So, you know, hey,
Oh, you
it works
think
out.
you've seen the real me?
Yeah, you. That's you. You're a piece of shit douchebag. That's you.
Nah, I'm actually a sensitive little Tumblr cat boy.
Oh, are you?
You wouldn't know it. I
You know
keep
what?
that real hidden.
You gotta keep it real fucking hidden.
It's way down there, but it's there. I mean, we all got one.
We all got one. That's
We all got a
fucking
little furry in us, Dustin.
I'm too sensitive sometimes. I wish I wasn't as sensitive as I am. But I'm also a fucking gorilla if I need to be.
A gorilla?
That's the first animal I thought of. I should have said something way.
It's not bad.
I guess the gorilla is the first thing. Alex, where are you fucking at?
I'm in Kansas City right now.
Kansas City, okay?
Yeah, I'm
All
in a ritzy little suburb of Kansas City called Mission,
Ooh.
Kansas.
Ooh, what are you doing there right now?
This is where I live right now. So this is where I've been unemployed for a while in a Betsy and I's little one-room apartment with a couple of kitties.
Couple kitties? How many
Couple of
cats do
kitties.
you have?
We got two. We got a jeweler who we got when we were up in Minneapolis, and then we got
Uh-huh.
Nova who we got during the quarantine here.
Ah, nice.
Mhm.
I fucking hate cats. Hate them.
Well, I mean, pussy
Hate
has
them.
avoided you forever, Dustin.
All right, can you tell everybody, give people a little bit about yourself, quick little synopsis of who the fuck Alex Wolfe is?
Let's see. In a video game, I always choose a female character to play as. if you
Okay.
can, And I usually give it a kind of a weird name, like based on a plant or something outside. I've got, let's see, I've got 4 different calendars hung up in this room right now because they each track a different little thing. Because if it's all on one calendar, the calendar gets
You
too
have
crowded.
you have 4 different calendars tracking like different things, like what you have to, like your work schedule or things like that.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
whatever.
Absolutely. I can't do it all on one calendar, or else the calendar looks too busy, and then I don't look at the calendar.
You don't look at it just because it's too busy. It's like, there's too many
Yeah,
fucking
it's
words
like-
on that fucking thing. I'm not about it.
It looks gross. Like I'm a list maker, but like
Okay.
I do, my list, they're perfectly in line, and then everything's like crossed out to the very end of it once it's done. Make a list every morning. Oh yeah.
I want to know what's on all 4 of those calendars. What are they tracking?
One is tracking the current, let's see, techno religious spiritual religious cult that I'm kind of part of right now. We'll get into that, I'm sure, later.
What the fuck is that?
One is a plain calendar because I want one plain one so I can just like look at the days and I just cross off the days on that calendar so I actually know what day it is.
So you know it's Monday or
Yeah. Another one is then like my money making calendar for like anything I do that's actually gonna bring in some damn income. So I better actually keep that in one place. And then I have my fun calendar, which I don't really touch a whole lot, and that's the one that has like a fun design, like a cat or something on it.
oh, and it's like, I gotta Zoom this on Wednesday. That's my fun day. That's my
Yeah,
fun. That's what we're doing. That's my
Yep.
social.
Mhm.
Have you always been like that? I didn't know that about you.
No, this has developed ever since I started having to do things like pay taxes and insurance myself. And I'm like, oh no, if I do this wrong, I gotta go to jail.
Oh,
And
God.
so I got really nervous about all that stuff. And so I became like a compulsive list maker, especially
Wow.
like through college, just because the theater schedule was so busy and like you could not be late for anything. So I would
You could be, and
well, I mean, if you
Okay.
were needed there, you couldn't be late for things. So some of us actually had to be on time. And occasionally, yeah, you would just be late and like Joan would look at you bad and it was the worst thing in the world. So yeah, I
I used to
compulsively
that.
made lists and set alarms and stuff like
Well,
that.
I mean, that's good. I think I'm bad at. I'll think I have to. I'd be better at writing things down now. Like I have like a goal calendar on my wall, like things for that week and shit. But I used to just go off of what I would remember in my head. I'm
Yeah,
like, if I didn't remember it,
high
wasn't that
school.
important. But there's so many things that I would forget then. But
Yeah.
I never like I would just like rehearsals. I just knew like I'm probably called. I'll go, or I would look at it like the day, like an hour before I was like maybe gonna be called. You know, like rehearsals were usually like at 5. So I'm like, all right, it's 4:00. Am I called today? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I would, if I did fit in my head, I didn't think it was important enough to write it down. If I didn't fucking remember it, I was like, nah, it's not even that important. Probably speaks to why a lot of people don't like me sometimes. I just forgot shit.
It's
Like,
just like, where the fuck is Dustin?
where the fuck is Dustin at?
He said he would be here. He's the director.
I am that dude. I'm perpetually late for any like event. I'm gonna be an hour late. I'm never showing up on time. I'm gonna be pre-gaming before I go anywhere, and then I'm gonna go an hour and a half late.
I'm gonna pregame, but I'm also gonna be 45 minutes early, and I'm gonna sit in my car.
You're just gonna stare at what
I'm gonna sit in my car until 5 minutes after it's actually started, so I can walk in and not seem weird when I could have just left like 5 minutes until the event started.
Why? Why would you do that?
I don't know. I don't know what demons I think it's like keeping inside some weird invisible closet, but like they haven't come out yet, so I got to keep doing it, right? Tap 3 times, turn around, spit.
Yeah. It's working so far, so you have to keep sticking with it.
We're barely hanging on, so obviously
we're barely hanging on.
Wrong this year. I'd like to apologize for 2020, but that was my bad.
That was all me. I fucked that up. I did. Would you say you have a very specific type of humor, Alex?
You mean that I express or that I enjoy?
Ooh, I think, well, first express. I mean, both, honestly, but like the humor that you like bring out to the world, like how you say things, how you talk to people.
I have a pretty specific rhythm, I think, that's been developed by a few of the people that like in my childhood I found really, really funny.
Okay. Are these just like friends of yours or people in your life? Like, are you talking about like celebrities and stuff?
My grandfather who he was like the dude in the family, the typical grandfather who would like tell the jokes, and you would like tell dirty jokes, and like mom wouldn't really want you to hear them and stuff, so you wanted to hear them more.
Yeah.
And then
okay.
Another is my long-term boss, who my dad worked with him for like 5 years, and then I've worked with him for like the past decade and a little bit over landscaping up in Lincoln. And the man is so neurotic, but so good-hearted at the same time, and just lives on a farm outside of Ithaca, Nothing, Nebraska.
Yeah.
So it's just a crazy sort of rhythm where he has to control every facet of the conversation, or else nothing will make sense. Like he's got to wrap everything around, or nobody knows where we're going. So you just kind of hang on, and wait,
it's either gonna. Do you think? I think the way that I do, like, you're either gonna find me fucking funny, or you're not at all. Like, there's not an in between. Like, oh, it's kind of. It's like, oh, that was hilarious. Oh, you're not into it. Do you feel that way when you're like your comedic or humor style? Do you feel that way with people? Like if you don't met, so if let's say I bring this person named Rick up to you, you've never met Rick, you know nothing about Rick. Do you think that they're going to find you funny if they don't know who you are?
I think it's usually my goal to have people find me funny. So usually I can kind of like, I have a basic rhythm, but I can try to, I think the more cultural word for it, it's something code switching is the word for it. It's a term.
Don't know what that means.
I think it's a term used for different people who like kind of straddle the line. Like a lot of different people in the Black community have talked about it, where like they have to talk to their friends differently than you would like talk to a teacher, talk to a parent, talk to like the elders in your community. So you like switch that up. I think I do a very, very mild form of that, where but my goal is always just to take people right to kind of the edge where they're feeling uncomfortable, and then like tickle them while they're crossing the line and make them giggle about it. So like doing that with an old lady is really different than, doing that with Dustin after a few years, right? But like, yeah.
I mean, you're obviously way fun. Like people, like when you're close with someone and then they understand you, like it's way funnier and stuff. But I think for you, so I think there's very few people like you're saying how you kind of switch how you are comedically, or like how you, when you're telling jokes or like being whatever with who you're talking to. I think I probably like, but I do that a lot too. But there's a certain few people I could probably count on like one hand that like are when we're talking in our humor, like if I really am, just me and you in a room and those people are like get my true sense of humor. Like my friend Aaron Mann, I think you were like that with me. Like I think
Aaron Man rocks. That dude
oh
was
yeah,
funny.
he's a funny
Like, yeah,
motherfucker.
at a party, he was definitely somebody that could like control a room, and you would like hear people laughing in the other room, and it
Yeah.
would be the circle around him. Yeah, he was definitely one of those people.
Yeah, but he just gets like we can riff on a phone for an hour and a half and like we will both be dying laughing at what each other are saying
Mm.
because we just get our humor and stuff. Does Betsy get your humor really well?
She does. She's usually the target of my humor
She's
more
the
than
target.
anything. Oh yeah, definitely. You know, you gotta sometimes you just gotta push buttons. So like in the shopping, if we're grocery shopping or something and somebody's stuffy is coming down the aisle, it's not unheard of to, whisper to her like, I don't care if mom says it's wrong. Like if I want to touch your boobs, it's fine. You're my sister, It's it you just gotta throw a little weirdness into the world.
Yeah, and I think hearing that humor is the funniest shit to me. I don't have the balls to say that stuff. Like unless I'm
Yeah.
with like certain like my people, but
Mhm.
I would not do what you did. Like that's hilarious to me. If I heard that, I
You
would
gotta
fucking
definitely pick your person, or else, like, you know, you learn when you're doing like the stupid version of that in high school, and you're like, you go way too offensive, and you're like, oh, I can't come back here.
oh no,
That's
yeah.
that's permanent. That's
You got to get to the line, and then you're like, all right, here's our line.
Mhm.
Did he just fucking say that?
Yeah.
That's not too bad.
I think
But
that's one thing my mom worries about more than any. I think my humor verges, like I said, like on the line of what I think my audience would consider offensive. So it's fun to toe that, but it's also the dangerous ground of like you might really say so. So you also got to be willing to like, oh, sorry about that. That's
yep,
too
you gotta
far.
be.
Like, you know what? I'm an asshole for that one. My bad.
Hey,
I'll stand up.
I'll stand up. I fucked up. Hey, everybody, I
Yeah.
fucked up. Okay, that was not okay. But hey, you gotta try, and that's what. Are you big like stand up comedy fan?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So
I listen to that. I listen to stand-up comedy albums like
all the
over
time.
and over and over and over and over until I can like repeat them just because I
Yeah.
love how different people put things together and their
Oh yeah.
different rhythms and how you can see like how different people play with the actual form itself and where they're taking risks and where they're not. It's really, yeah, I love it. That's
I
one of my
think
weird
I think
things.
it's such an important job because like we need people to toe that line.
Mhm.
You need it like that release. Like if I don't like it's just it helps out so much to watch someone else do it.
Oh
And then
yeah.
you're like, oh, it's fucking hilarious. Who are your favorite stand-up comedians?
Ooh, right now, for the like super common stuff, Patton Oswald, I think, is
He's
super
awesome.
incredible. If you want to go a little bit older, Rodney Dangerfield, George Carlin, especially the way George Carlin was able to evolve from like sort of early shtick, like silly style comedy to like
Uh-huh.
grew angry and like bitter and had like the wit with it and would start doing bits that were like 20 to 25 minutes long, and it's like that's one big story, and it's like, oh, so when you break it down to keep somebody's attention for that long, you got to write like 12 mini jokes in between
In
here,
between
and
it.
then there's got to be a tangent, and then you got to wrap it around at the end.
It's such
Yeah,
an art form. It's
it
such an
is.
art form. I think it's probably honestly had like the hardest art form ever in the world.
It's
Like
the one
it's
with a lot of public failure,
yeah,
that's for sure.
lot right in your fucking face. You know
Uh-huh.
how embarrassing it is when you say something and you think it's gonna be funny and then it's crickets.
Oh
Even,
yeah,
I don't
digging
even do stand-up
around.
comedy, but even you're
Yeah.
telling a story and people are like, what the fuck was that? That was the dumbest story I've ever fucking heard. Like, oh,
Mhm.
I thought you were gonna laugh at that. This is really weird now. But I like to point out when it's not funny. I'm like, oh, okay. None of you laughed at that. That's cool. All right, thanks. And then that gets a couple chuckles. You're like, all right, we skated out of this one. We got through. We're okay.
The thing that always helps me is knowing that like whenever I've been on the opposite of that situation, I think it's natural for people like with a heart to be empathetic. So like you almost feel just as bad as the audience where you're like, "Oh, I wish that didn't happen." So when you're in that position, you're just like, oh, look around, find whoever looks really pained, and like, my friend, we're gonna suffer together. All right, we're gonna ride out this awkwardness.
Have you ever done stand-up comedy or tried
Um,
to?
a little bit, just like a open mic here, whatever.
Huh. That'd be really,
Nothing too crazy.
I think that'd be something really cool for you to look into. I would fucking pay a lot of money to watch you do that.
That'd be,
Not a lot
I
of money,
think
probably
it'd be
$10.
fun. I think it'd be fun to do one of those things. There's a YouTube channel that does like essentially improv stand-up comedy where they'll bring on big comedic names and then just have a big billboard up behind them and they'll flash up a random topic and the comedians just got to launch into like a shtick about that topic and go for it.
You got to go and figure it
Yeah.
out. No, that's fucking. I love I'm a big like Dave Chappelle fan, obviously.
Oh, Dave
And-
Chappelle's latest stuff, like everything he's been releasing has been just better and better
and better. I love Sebastian Maniscalco.
That's one I don't know.
He like just is telling story, like he's one of the comedians, like he's just telling stories about his life, but the way he perceives people, like because he's from a Catholic Italian family, and like how he sees people and how they act, he's like, what are you doing? Like things like that. I started to like pick up his cadences and like I'll kind of say things like the way that he does a little bit. I was also a huge Chris D'Elia fan.
Oh,
And
nice.
now we're not allowed to talk about him anymore.
Well, we might be able to bring him up later. I have a few references later on that I'll get into. But you know what? I'm glad we've come to a point in the show where we can talk about things like failure and apologies, because that brings us right into our second segment, which is lovingly entitled "Dustin Doesn't Age Well." So we're just gonna have you respond to a little question here.
Okay.
Looking back on some of your groundbreaking work, what sort of strengths do you think you brought to the role of Usnavi from In the Heights, a musical that so personally delves into the psyche of a community of immigrants, keeping in mind, of course, the current attitudes and conversations that our nation is having about appropriation, both in the wider cultural lens as well as specifically in the artistic community?
I fucking hate you. To answer your fucking question, I should have never played that role ever. I apologize for anyone that had to watch me do that. Second answer to that question is,
I mean, for the race stuff too, right? Not just your performance.
Huh?
For the race stuff, not just your performance. Oh, like, should you not have gotten the role because you're white or because of the lack of talent?
No, yeah. I did think I was really good in that role, and I was like, oh, you're definitely probably.
Oh, don't worry. Nobody knew. Nobody knew. You played it off. You were real subtle.
I really like that show, man. That show.
It's good. He's good. Everybody that heard it walked out and was like, "Ah, that main character. I'll bet that guy sings it in his shower." That's what that sounded like. Oh, I think I'm funnier than I am.
I mean, I do too, man. But I love it. Why the fuck So you've been shitting on my podcast while you've been on the podcast. Can you tell me why you fucking wanted to be on the podcast, Alex? Tell me why.
You wanted me to be on the podcast. You brought it up.
I thought it'd be fun.
I made fun of your podcast from the first moment I learned you had a podcast.
You just started making fun of my podcast. You're like,
I mean,
what
it
an
was
idiot.
we were at the Nagy's Halloween thing, and you were like, "I have a podcast," and I said, "You say that again, but closer to the microphone." And then this has been my attitude ever since. I am unabashedly positive, and I want this to continue.
It's going to continue. I fucking love doing it.
But I also want to never say a positive word about the actual product that comes out.
Gotcha.
Just
So
trash.
Yeah, just trash.
product.
But maybe that helps out in the end. So you're trashing like, all right, he's just saying this is shit. And then maybe someone listens and they're like, oh, it's not that bad actually. Alex doesn't know what he's talking about.
I just want you to get at least one message from somebody that you got to cut this out. This will be the one thing I say cut out.
Okay.
Share with me the one message that you get from somebody who just doesn't get it, and it's like, he was just so mean.
Yeah, who clearly doesn't understand it, who doesn't understand what's going on. That'd be
You
funny.
gotta send it. I will put it into a T-shirt, and I will do a little 5-minute update to this episode for you of me wearing the T-shirt and swinging my dick.
Just clearly see, that's also one of the funny is people just don't understand what's happening. I'm like, I bet there's one. I know there's a couple friends of mine that do listen all the time, and they'll say things. I'm like, that was a joke. Like I wasn't like that's who I. But even not in a pot. Like sometimes on like Miles the other day was saying he's like, yeah, you were kind of being really mean at the end of that Zoom call. I'm like, when I say those things, I'm not fucking being serious. When I'm like, you're a fucking loser, dude. I don't really think you're a loser. And if you don't know me by now, what the fuck have we been doing this whole time?
You goddamn loser.
You fucking piece of shit. You have no fucking friends. That's my favorite thing to say to someone, by the way. My favorite thing to hurt somebody is to say, you don't have any friends. Because I think it really cuts fucking deep. That's what I think.
There's not a lot of good comebacks to it.
There's not. What are you going to say? Oh, you're a bitch. Nobody wants to hang out with you. You have a small dick. Nobody wants to talk to you at all.
You gotta stop saying all my jokes that are coming later for you.
Those are all your jokes?
All my material. You're a bitch. You have a small dick.
Why'd you guys decide to move out of New York? I did talk to, I think, Liz when she was on. She told me about you guys moving out. And I wanted to have from some perspective that did the New York theater scene here and then just said, not for me, and then left. Why'd you guys, what made you feel like it wasn't for you? Or was there another reason why you guys decided to leave?
It wasn't necessarily the theater scene that like kicked us out. I definitely initiated the move out, but it was just the thing. I don't know. The city just kicked my ass for a number of different reasons.
How long were you here, Alex?
What was it, like 9 or 10 months? It was just shy of a year at the end, because it was just like, why the fuck am I paying? Why am I paying so much to stay in a place that I hate? You know. But yeah, it came down to one point where I had paid and I was down at the subway stop and the train came for me to get on and go to work, and I just like watched it pull away, and then the other train came up and then I just watched that go, and I was like, I don't think I'm gonna go to work today. And then I walked done. Yeah, I walked back home and I was like, hey Betsy, I think I want to leave New York.
Wait, that's really how that happened?
Yep.
Dude, I
think I bought 3 lottery tickets in the meantime, because I was like, if I spontaneously win like $50,000, then at least I can quit my job and stay, and then maybe Betsy doesn't have to know. I don't have to like upend our life.
Yeah, we have to fucking end.
But that didn't pan out, and I didn't have any more money, so I had to come clean.
I had to be like, hey Betsy, it's like 8 months later. Hey Betsy, I fucking this didn't work out. Okay, this didn't pull together. So yeah. So it was more the city, like just New York in general. And was it, like you said about the money and the rent and stuff, was that the biggest reason?
Yeah.
This pisses me off, and I think it's moronic. And I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? But
it was paying too much to have too little. And then in order to afford anything, you also didn't have time to do anything that would make it worthwhile, you know?
I got you.
Because especially like living anywhere close to the city, whether you're in Queens or Brooklyn or, you know, way up north in Manhattan where you can actually afford to live and stuff like that, you know, to get anywhere, it's like, okay, well, that's an hour, you know, an hour and a half, 2 hours on a really bad day, you know, fucking 3 hours if some asshole decides to kill themselves by jumping in front of a train, which I say is the most selfish goddamn way to die. Like, aside from making a lady in a minivan run you over by jumping off a bridge, like, how can you inconvenience more people with you leaving? Holy cow.
I'm sorry. So funny. What a selfish prick.
Sorry, I was late to work one day, so that was...
So you're like, no sympathy. You're like, how fucking dare you fuck up all New Yorkers with this shit? Jesus.
I did have moments after that though, because I used to love to ride. One of the only upsides to it was like riding in the absolute front of a subway where you can like see the tracks ahead of you. And I was like, someday I'm gonna watch somebody like jump beyond these tracks. That's gonna be weird. You know, you ever do like the workout thing where you're like, I don't know, you get into that dumb man brain and you're like, I gotta do bench press. I gotta get angry to push this up. And so you're like,
Yeah.
what if somebody kicked my dog? And then you
And
like put that person's face and you're like, oh, somehow I'm benching you to hell.
that fucking visualization shit, dude, I do that all the time. I would do that for like, I mean, not that aggressive, like for shows and stuff, but I would sit and just close my eyes and I would like think about people that think I was a failure or like things like that. I would visualize that stuff all the time.
Oh yeah.
Get me
I
to do
failed
anything.
on a 3-plate squat one time at the Wesleyan gym while I was trying to do that after a really like bad night of like takeout and alcohol, and I absolutely shit my pants at like 6:45 in the morning.
What?
Just bottom of the rack position. And the worst part is it's been like I've been out of school for a bit, but when I was living in Lincoln, I would still just go use the gym because nobody was at the Weary in the mornings. So I would just walk in and nobody would say anything.
Like, yeah, you're good.
Yeah, like security's nothing. So I just a stranger walked into the gym that day, tried to squat too much weight, shit himself, and just like
What is
spent
your immediate reaction when you shit yourself after you squat? What do you do?
well, the issue was I was in the bottom of the squat, so like I had to deal with the squat first. Like
So-
I like shitting pants is one thing, but I really don't want to like fuck up my back. Like, I cannot come here again, but if I drop this wrong, this is gonna be hard to walk.
That's fucking crazy to me. That's,
Yes.
So you finished out the squat, so you went right back
No,
up off the squat.
I didn't finish that. I totally failed it. But like
so okay.
I failed, and like I did the weird like arch back, like drop it, which of course makes the loudest noise of all time.
So then anyone that's in there is like, oh,
boom, hello.
big weight over here. What are we doing?
Yeah. Meanwhile, the mirror behind me is actively steaming up. And, like,
Oh my god.
and I'm
Then
just like,
did you just
I just
quit?
waddled.
Did you just waddle up right out of there? Like, did you
Yeah,
not
I
even
was
touch
just
the
like,
weights?
well, no. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna deal with that in a minute. But this is now the more pressing concern.
That's fucking crazy to me. I've never talked to someone that shit themselves in the middle of a squat before. I've seen like videos of
yeah.
that online and stuff, but that's
Oh yeah, it was bad.
hey, props
It
for
was
you
awful.
for hey, that takes a man to fucking be like, hey man, fuck that one up now,
Well,
didn't I?
it was the stupidity of like, do I take a shit? But like I did the warm up already and I don't want to go like sit down for a while and like get all tight, and like the bathroom down there is always cold because it's the Weary and it's chilly, and like, oh no, I'm just gonna push through it. And then you fucking idiot. And then all of a sudden you're standing there in the shower going, uh-oh. Oh, we've got a problem.
God. I feel so bad for you.
Yeah, I had to bike home after that too.
Just so much.
And to top it all off, my bike seat had broken off the week before, so I couldn't sit down on my bike. My bike was a stand-in pedal only for a while.
Why would you just get another seat?
Well, it still worked.
You're that person that's like, I'm gonna fucking do this until it is physically not possible for me to use this thing anymore.
Yeah, I tend to wear things into the ground.
Yeah, I'm like, I mean, there's like, I'll do that with shoes, but like, if I'm like, I'll get a new fucking seat. Like, I'm not.
I eventually got a new seat, but like it was for a while. Like I just kind of procrastinated the seat.
And that's why you have those calendars now. That's why you're a list guy, so you can write.
Exactly. I would put on one of my 4 calendars, get a bicycle seat.
Fucking bicycle
It would
seat.
happen. I'm gonna let Betsy take over for a minute here.
Oh my god,
with,
I don't have any questions for Betsy, but I'll talk to her.
Oh, don't worry. Betsy's got a section 4 coming up right now. Betsy,
I can't wait.
ladies and gentlemen, with Packers failures from years past.
Hey, Betsy.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. You know, just getting berated by your boyfriend over there.
Oh, welcome to my world.
Welcome to the podcast, Betsy. I hear there's segments that you're taking over. So,
Oh yeah, well I felt it, fitting in my Chiefs apparel to discuss the
God.
Packers failures.
I fucking hate you.
It's okay. With the tremendous list that the Packers have presented over the years of just awful moments in sports history. I did only pick out 4.
Oh, well, okay. All right. Don't think there's really okay. Chiefs. Okay.
Oh no, I'm not. Chiefs have had their own qualms as well, but it's hometown, and we did get a little bit of what's the word? Reprieve last year. So
Yeah. Okay. All right. Whatever. Fucking tell me your goddamn facts. I can tell them why they're fucking wrong.
Ooh. What about the Haddle trade, huh? Quarterback trading all those draft picks. And what was it? Like 9 touchdowns and 29 interceptions? Was that it? Something like that?
What are you talking about? Who?
Some guy in the 70s. That
Wasn't born in the 70s, Betsy. Didn't know anything about that, actually. But, hey.
Oh, well, I'm glad to just share more Packers humiliation with you then.
I appreciate that. All right, what's your fucking next one?
All right, we got that one. We've got Super Bowl 32 with the Broncos.
Brett Favre should have won that game.
Brett Favre totally should have won that game.
His name is not Favre. His name is Favre. Betsy. Say it. Fucking Favre.
No, I hear what you're saying. Yeah, Favre. I gotcha.
Podcast sucks. She can't even keep a straight face.
I can't, no.
Hey, let's talk about first 2 Super Bowls ever played. Packers, they won those. They won those first 2 ever. And the Chiefs, first ones they played, they lost. You have like 1 Super Bowl last year.
Yeah, but at least it's current. So, we're on the up and up.
They're way smarter than I am, people. They're way smarter than I am. They're way wittier. I'm not witty. Witty has not been a thing to describe Dustin ever. What's your fucking next one, asshole?
We've got the 15-1 and the one and done. What starts off so beautifully and then just totally slides into destruction. I mean, it's a rough time.
And the Chiefs are the ones that gave us that 1 loss that year.
Mm.
And that was one of the reasons I started to hate the Chiefs.
Fitting. I like it.
You Chiefs fans are the fucking worst people this entire year. You guys are literally the worst fans in sports to me.
Really?
Yeah.
You think the Chiefs are the worst, not like the fucking Eagles?
No Eagles fan has ever been mean to me. I've had numerous Chiefs fans talk a bunch of shit let's call out bandwagon fans like Drew Valika here. Oh. Drew Valika, who suddenly loves the Chiefs now. I never talked to him about football in his fucking life.
No, I'm not here for some pussyfooting fake fan shit.
Pussyfooting fake fan shit. I'm not here for that either. But I think a lot of you Chiefs fans are.
See, the thing with like Chiefs fans, is that you really hate them when they suck and you love them when they're good. But being from Kansas City, you do have to just stick with them and be stuck with them. It's a bad marriage. You're just kind of stuck with it.
But if I never heard you talk about them before the last 3 years they've been relevant, then you're a bandwagon fan. So Betsy, I'm gonna call you bandwagon fan. I've known you for a few years. I've never heard you talk about the Chiefs ever.
Have you ever heard me talk about anything ever? I don't talk to people.
That's also true. That's very true, actually. That's Betsy doesn't talk to me about anything. Betsy has her own mind.
I say a lot of things in my head, but if they ever actually, left my mouth, I think I get in a lot of trouble.
Is Alex just staring at you?
No, right now he is pantsing, or he's pantsless, and he's just waving his dick at me. Which is a common occurrence.
How long have you 2 been together?
5 years, almost.
Jesus Christ. Tell me what that is like, because I haven't had a relationship longer than a fucking couple months in a very long time. So how the fuck do you guys make that shit work?
I don't know. I think really it comes down to if I get mad at him, he tries to make me laugh. And then if I laugh, he goes, haha, I'm not in trouble, and runs away.
Is he the funniest person you know?
I think so. Him or probably Monty Montalegre.
That dude is fucking dope. I would love to talk to him. He doesn't talk to me.
I did want to mention one more Packers fail for you.
Okay.
Before I bring Alex back on. And obviously you've been waiting for it. It's the 4th and 26, which is painful for a lot of people.
The 4th and 20. What are you talking? See, these are
the 4th and 26. It's the what was it?
Are you guys just
Remember
making
now,
shit
I'm too.
up?
No, it's real. I literally Googled Packers worst moments, and you know what? There were a lot to choose from.
If I Googled Betsy's worst moments in life, there'd be something to pick from too. You can Google anything.
Oh,
It's
my
like-
entire life. That's just my entire life right there. Betsy's worst moments, 1995 to 2020.
Just getting a little more comfortable for you
Okay, dude.
and for your audience. It is Christmas after all. They all deserve a present.
That was a really cool segment that you just looked up and then just was reminding me of things that I don't even remember. I don't remember any of those things.
You're gonna look them up when you're editing now.
I
'cause
definitely will be though. I'll be like, what the fuck was he talking about? What is this?
You're gonna be upset.
70s? It wasn't fucking even thought of in the 70s. I want to bring up some stories. I want to talk about some stories
do
with
it.
me and you because I thought that these are two stories I know of you that I think why I like you so much or why I think you're so cool. First story is so after we've like become close or whatever, like we just would joke around all the time, whatever the fuck it was. You know, you came to parties at my place. Oh, actually, I would like for you to settle a debate because you're a debate for me. Can you help me out with that?
Absolutely.
So this is how I'll start this. So the Panda Pit parties
Mm-hmm.
were basically the theater parties my senior year, your sophomore year, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
So we had those a lot. Those are basically where everyone went because that theater house called the Bear Pit kind of shut down, whatever it was. Can
Mhm.
you tell me for mostly douchebag Adam Rice, Winston Nowak, and Scott Shoemaker and Jake Mormon, tell me how many people came to those parties in those townhouses?
Enough to get busted.
Okay. Give me a number, like around a number. Like just give me
enough to fill it. Like they were packed enough that you'd be running into people like going through it.
There were literally 30 to 40 people at these parties.
Yeah. Too many,
Easily.
really. Too many.
Too many,
For me
too
to be
many,
comfortable. Yeah.
Too many. But we had a lot of people. These little sons of bitches tried to tell me that we have like, you'd have like 15 people. I'm like, you're a fucking liar, dude. We would sneak people into this shit. It was fucking a whole process. Anywho, so one of my favorite stories about you is I did tell this on the Chase's podcast one, but since you're here. So
Okay.
we were like close one day, and here's what I remember. Tell me what you don't remember. It just showed you who the person you are to me, and I'm like, this dude's fucking dope. But so I got a text from you, and you're like, hey, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm about to go out on my date with my girlfriend at the time. And you're like, well, I need to talk to you about something. I was like, okay. So I was like, come by, we can do it real quick or whatever. You come by, and you have a fucking full bottle of Kraken. And I'm like, all right, what do you need to talk about? He's like, oh, I just wanted to drink Kraken with you. I'm like, I'm supposed to go on a fucking like date. He's like, well, you're gonna be drinking this for a bit though. And how you could just easily push me around. So then I had never drank Kraken, and I was like, I don't have any mixtures. Like, we're fucking doing it straight, you loser. And so we start drinking Kraken. I'm starting to like get buzzed. I'm like, I have to go on this date with my girlfriend. And that was one. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
My other favorite story about you is so after all these Panda Pit parties, and then it was the final one. So in my like these parties work because I always was looking out during all the parties, making sure the PAs were there. No. My last one was like supposed to be the senior send off for Dustin or whatever because he's leaving. So Miles and Maggie and Annie were in charge of it, and they sucked and they know what they're doing. But so the party gets busted, and so the PAs are making us pour out all the liquor. But me and you are sitting by a sink, pouring out liquor, and then you look at me, you're like, "Oh fuck it," and you start chugging the liquor at the fucking sink. So I look, I'm like, "Fucking, you're all right, dude." So we just start chugging liquor while we're supposed to be pouring it out because PAs are just fucking pieces of shit. And those are like my two favorite stories about you, and shows I like think you're a dope ass person.
Yeah, that last one was just an honest to God serendipitous moment where the drunk head of like, they can't do anything more to me. And like the reality of like, actually, they can't really do anything more to me circumstantially lined up.
Yeah.
Like every other time that ends up like in prison, you know, of like, this can't get worse if I keep drinking this right now.
No.
But at that point, it's just like, what are you gonna do? Make me write a longer essay? Fine, sure. Cool beans,
You get in
bud.
trouble for that night?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I didn't.
I mean, you were of age. I was underage there, so they made me write a.
Yeah, but like all my like all a bunch of seniors, and like that was my place, and I never heard anything.
They were pretty shady on who. I think about a quarter of the people actually had to do something
Yeah.
coming out of that. I just happened to be one of the unlucky ones. But it was Wesleyan, so like I mowed one lawn and like I vacuumed 3 rooms, and that was my punishment.
was
And
your
I wrote the
punishment?
most sarcastic essay I've ever turned in.
I would actually love to have heard that fucking essay. That's
Yeah, I'm sure. I probably have a draft of it saved somewhere. But then, of course, my mom worked at the school too for a bit. So I had to also like preemptively tell her, like, hey, by the way, got caught at a party. And she was like, essentially, like, were you an asshole to anybody? And I was like, I don't think so.
think so. I
So,
did just start
you do
chugging all the liquor though before.
did
it
you
was
do
gone.
the punishment? Like, yeah, everything got turned in. Okay.
I remember trying to give them my ID. They just never fucking took it. They never did. Are you still doing acting right now, Alex, or anything like that? I know you're also a pretty big writer, right?
Yeah, that's what I've been focusing on mostly lately. That's where all of my quote unquote breaks seem to be actually coming. I had a little theater up in Michigan, the SAUK, SAUK, put on a show of mine that they kind of dug. They did a little Zoom performance of that. And then here in KC, director who actually I got in touch with through Betsy, we ended up meeting. He's an older friend of hers. Ended up enjoying something that I did, so I wrote a script for him, and we did a little Zoom production of that too. And
That's amazing, man. Congrats.
yeah,
Can you tell me what's your writing style? How do you get into like I've tried to write plays and stuff, and it seems like I always just get stumped.
hmm
Or I just like lose it. Like I have an idea, we'll write it for a bit. I'm like, I don't know. What's your like writing style? How do you get into writing a story? How do you create the story you want to write? What do you do to do that kind of shit?
about 80% of the time, I end up doing just what you do. You know, I get 15 pages into something, and I'm like, God, I suck. Writing sucks. Theater sucks. Fuck it. I gotta go like learn how to be a banker and learn how taxes work. And then you eventually hit something that's like, you try to actually make it through. I just try to think like, what haven't I seen that I actually do want to see? So
Do you write about your personal life and stuff? Or personal things that have happened to you and stuff? Or you
I did once, really, really overtly. The first thing that I ever wrote that got like put up was at Wesleyan. It was a show called Apathy, and I was just in a really like depressive state, essentially junior year, for whatever reason, that sort of slump of like, man, theater is like hard, and now it's like the real world is coming, and you're like, man, college is weird. Like, why did I go to college? Like, what's happening in the world? The world is falling apart around us.
yeah.
And so I wrote a show entirely based on like, oh, I love one of the people I love most in the world is Eric Butler, who was my roommate junior year and then senior year and then out of college as well. One of my best friends like in the entire world. And so I wrote a show that was like, what if me and Eric had an apartment together and he just killed himself one day? And I couldn't deal with that. So I put him in a closet and then just kind of talked to his little ghost that I manifested. So essentially, the whole play was about me attempting to work up the courage to kill myself so I could hang out with Eric again. But before I did, I wanted to rob a bank to kind of that was like a bucket list thing I wanted to do before I died. So it was a suicidal guy and a ghost that had recently committed suicide trying to put together a 2 to 3 person heist on a small like Lincoln bank.
What the fuck?
And
That's awesome.
Yeah, but the issue was I made it too real, and like I used Eric and I's real names and stuff, and it was put up at Wesleyan, and like Eric played himself, like so like it got weirdly real, and like my mom's seeing it, and I'm not realizing things of like, oh, I could have hid this better. Of like, I don't want my mom to sit in the audience and be like, oh, my kid is like just eager to kill himself. That's what a mom wants to see.
Oh, I think I understand that to an extent because I'm obviously not as good of a writer as you. Like that's not my thing, but I was writing a play, and then Milo, and it was a lot of it was about me and Miles,
Mhm.
and then it's like you have an idea of what to start, but then I'm like, I'm just writing stories about me, and then you're reading back to it, and I think I was kind of writing in a depressive state too, and then you're reading it, and you're like I stopped writing for like a year, and then you read back at it, and you're like, oh, this is just you retelling things about your life. And I think sometimes you're not hiding it at all, even if you change the names. Like, that's clearly Dustin, that's clearly Miles, or whatever. So what would be advice for someone like that is trying to write and stuff, but is trying to write a personal story? What would be your advice on trying to get away from it or make it less personal?
Don't. I think find the way, even if it's only in an exercise, let that honesty through, and let it be that personal. Use your own name if you want. Delve into the hard stuff. You don't have to keep it. Put the embarrassing crap that you're gonna cut like out, on the show the places where you shit your pants taking a squat, right? At least for you in the writing process. And
Wow.
then when you go back in, you can change people's names and do all the cool writer tricks of like, oh, these people are really, talking about this on the surface right now. What if I had them talk about that, but in reality, they were talking about what kind of doorknobs to get or something like that. But really, they're talking about their dead kid. It's all of that script analysis bullshit.
Oh God.
Yeah, you don't put that in the first bit. Everybody thinks like that, like, yeah, Kubrick came out with 2001: A Space Odyssey and it was perfect. And it was like, no, it took the dude years. The dude rewrote the script like a billion times. He fucked up every single step of the way, but he just had a good vision by the end, and you just keep going.
Wow. That's fucking. Have you been writing a lot more during the COVID and all this kind of stuff, this break? Has that made you propel your inner artistry in that sense? Like, made you want to keep writing new stories, keeping yourself creative?
Absolutely. The thing that I ended up doing for Betsy's friend Pat was the story about a cult meeting where only one person shows up and it's a total newbie. And so the cult leader has this sort of existential, like, oh my God, all this work for this guy. And that's all that has happened. So
where do you come up with these like very eccentric ideas? I feel like my brain doesn't work that way. I couldn't think of something like that.
I think I'm drawn. I think I said this actually probably to Monty at one point. Monty is the best writer I know. He comes up with more original ideas in one day than I will ever have in my lifetime.
Oh God.
But I was talking with him, I believe it was him, and I think I said something of like, I think I'm really attracted to writing main characters that are just grand failures, because I have a grand idea of myself, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna fail.
Pretty sure I'm gonna fuck this up.
Where it's like, yeah, the cult leader is absolutely me, who is like, writing this, diatribe and expects people to come and be like, oh my God, you're a genius, but only one person shows up. And it's like, just because he found another dude's, cult booklet on the street and followed the address on the inside. It's like, okay, that's my guy. Oh no.
That's it. Got him. Fucking got him. I had a conversation with some people last night for like Christmas and everything. Merry Christmas to you, by the way. Hope it was
Merry
good.
Christmas as well. I hope you had a good one. I hope your family is full of love and happiness this time of year. I say that actually with no fucking ulterior motives,
No ulterior motive. Hope it was good.
All bullshit aside, man. A lot of love to you and a lot of love to your family. We got to spread a lot of love around right now.
That's right, dude. There's too much not love fucking anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was talking to people yesterday about, was fucking college theater worth it?
Mm-hmm. I think about that all the time.
What do you think about that? I would say in my sense of it, I think I got to, after we had that conversation, I was like, college theater, I wouldn't say like it helped me like fail, like, all right, this is just a bad acting choice or whatever like that. But it was more about the life experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Now, does that fucking garner fucking having a 30 to 40 grand fucking a year fucking debt to pay? Probably not. You can get life experience to do another shit. but also like all the friendship and relationships I have from that, like it's like I don't regret it, but it's also was when you just try to think about it as an acting way, what do I when I go like as an actor, be fucking real. Be real.
Mhm.
Don't try too hard. Don't fucking be an extra motherfucker. I don't think about all these things that I learned in college and acting 1, acting 2 when I go into auditions and stuff. Auditions I get it from like I met someone at a bar and I'm talking to them like, I like you, I like your personality, I want you to do this role. And you get it because of your personality or whatever it is. What's your opinion on that?
I think that you asked 5 separate questions there.
I definitely probably did. I apologize for that.
No, I'm gonna try to go through and answer at least 2.
If you miss one, I'm gonna cut the Zoom off right now.
That's fair. I mean, we'll both be better for it. The first question, is college theater worth it? Inherently, no. For everybody, no. For me, yes. Not because necessarily theater is the end all be all, but because I think it introduced me to a few people who had a better head on their shoulders that I happened to be around. And I think it was the artistic space that made that happen. I'm talking more specifically about especially the people I spent the last couple of years of college with.
Yeah, me. No, yeah, me.
Yeah, absolutely. You.
Yeah, me.
The people at the house, especially like Eric Butler, Alexander McAlpine, Michael Cruz, they all had a weird sort of don't give a fuck attitude that I have never been able to cultivate. That's one reason I don't really do a whole lot of acting. I was never able on stage to like just let it go. You know, I was always so aware of like, I am acting right now. I am in front of people. This is weird.
I gotcha.
So
I saw that in your acting too. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, everybody did. Everybody. See, that was the issue. So yeah.
No, I mean that's a hard thing though too. Like to be comfortable in that, it's like I feel like that's the thing. You have it or you don't. Like you can learn techniques and stuff. Maybe I'm wrong. In my opinion, I just feel like you either get comfortable, you feel that. But I also don't ever feel like I'm completely I'm not. I always say I'm not the fucking acting theater type person. But I don't know. I was going on a tangent.
You don't necessarily need to be either. Like one thing you don't necessarily realize until you get into the, quote unquote real world is like, Dustin, you are going to get cast for people that are like Dustin, people that look like Dustin, people that sound like Dustin. You are going to have those roles, right?
But I'm not fucking, I'm not fucking playing Edward Scissorhand.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not playing that role.
That's not going to be a thing that you do. But like, are you going to be like Seth Rogen's best friend? Absolutely, right? Like
Why Seth Rogen's best friend? Why?
Look at your monitor right now.
What's wrong with my monitor?
That's why Seth Rogen's best.
What's wrong with my monitor?
Look at your face.
I have a pretty face.
Exactly. You have a pretty face. You're wearing a hoodie. You're wearing a Georgia Santa hat.
It's a fucking Packer Santa hat, you dumb motherfucker.
I saw G. I'm drunk.
Yeah, Green Bay. No.
Green Bay, Georgia.
Green Bay, Georgia.
There's probably Green Bay, Georgia.
You're right. I definitely cut off
vote Libertarian. That's what I say. Vote Libertarian in the Senate. Throw a wild card out there.
Vote Libertarian in the Senate. But I think, you're going to get cast as the people that you are. I know there are. I think I'm an okay actor. I think I can get into like roles and like serious roles and stuff, but there's a whole different world. Like I'm gonna bring up Ethan Ness. He definitely doesn't listen to this fucking podcast, but Ethan Ness is someone I'm like, this dude can get into this other shit that's not me. Like I'm that, and I'm fine with it. I used to think like I can play the serial killer. I'm like, oh dude, you're gonna play the drunken fucking dude at the bar, like whatever. Yeah. Like that's where you shine. I'm like, yeah, that's who I am. That's kind of why I like doing this. This is who I fucking am. I'm being who I am.
See, that's a selfish reason I like writing. I have a secret idea that every single writer is just like a frustrated actor that really in their head goes like, I could play every part better. So that's my way of like, oh, so now I'm the hunky boyfriend and now I'm the sexy girlfriend over here and everybody's attention is on me.
This is how you do it. This is the
Exactly. This is the way. This is how people really talk. I'm full of shit. Yeah, like I'm actually hold on, Betsy, go get my diploma.
Jesus
It's by the
Christ.
books.
It's-
I'm certified as a personal trainer with an emphasis in nutrition, and I'm currently getting strength and conditioning training certified.
You know that? You know what would have been cool? If you put that on my fucking form, I could have fucking asked you about that.
Well, it's here now. Ask me about it.
That's wild to me. I need a nutrition. I've lost too much shit lately. I'm like, fuck, dude, this COVID shit hit me too hard.
Yeah, dude, it's been playing with me. The thing this year has really taught me, man, mental health and physical health are so together on this.
Yeah.
Like, I've never had a problem before of like not eating. But anymore, there are times when I just get busy enough or whatever, and like the world is crappy enough that you're just like, what's going on? And Betsy will turn to me on the couch at like 9 p.m. and be like, "Have you eaten today?" And like, huh? No, I didn't do that. Huh? That's weird.
So you would just like stop eating, you wouldn't eat? I feel like
Yeah,
it's
like, I
almost a
just-
different, like I feel like, I mean, like being home all the time is like, oh, I just started eating more. I was like, Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
that's what it had always been for me before. And then this year came around, and suddenly it's like, yeah, in one span of like a month, I dropped like 15 pounds.
Jesus, man. That's what
Yeah,
good. You look great.
that was weird.
Give me real quick before you go on your Minneapolis tangent. Give me like, so that's fucking awesome that you did that. I had no idea you had like
Mhm.
a degree in that shit now. What's a nutritional tip you give to someone that's like trying to get in better shape or eat better and stuff?
Boom. Your hand can be used as a measuring tool. Your fist roughly, and it roughly correlates to everybody your own personal body size. So
Mhm.
your fist at every meal is roughly the size of like some sort of vegetable plus like a carbohydrate you should have. Uh, about the size of your palm and like about the thickness of your hand is about the size of the protein that you should have. And when you're looking into how much fat to put in, just about a thumb or two of fat. And that's how you can just balance a really easy meal for yourself. So when I'm putting stuff together and I don't want to like think about it, it's just like boom, frozen vegetables, at least a fist. Why not a whole bag? Uh, one chicken thigh that's right about a palm size, and then cooking a little bit of olive oil. Boom, you're done. Throw in a few spices and you're good to go.
So give me what's like, do you meal prep a lot?
I actually don't meal prep. I generally enjoy cooking. I've gotten really, really into cooking ever since again, college, and then moving like out of the like dorm collegey space to like an actual house where it's like, oh, I have to cook 3 meals a day for myself. I want to be in shape. I want to, cook for my housemates every once in a while, you know? Um, Plus, I'll watch YouTube videos all the time of like different like chefs giving little tips on like Gordon Ramsay makes his perfect burger or something like that. And I'll try to take all of that in and,
That's
you know,
fucking damn.
yeah,
Look at you
then
go, bro. I used
have
to just
people over.
constantly work out all the time, and then I never really focused on my eating. And then it was like, oh, you're older now. You have to actually do that, Dustin. Like your
Oh yeah,
metabolism
it
is not
totally
as high anymore.
started. It started in college from just the typical like the freshman 15 for me turned into like the freshman 25. I was like 220 pounds when I at like the end of the freshman year. And
Mhm.
on my like I'm like 5'11. I'm not even 6 foot. So that does not look good on my frame when that is fat and not muscle.
Mhm.
So, I went through all the stupid shit first.
Yeah.
Of all the diets and bullshit that don't work, and like all of the the men's health cover articles and whatever. But then eventually started to find some actual science behind it and figured out that stuff, one, worked, and two, gave me a little tingle in the back of my head when I learned like how my muscles were working inside of
Mhm.
my body and like the chemical reactions that were taking place in my brain in order to fire my nerves, which send out signals to the muscles, which release different chemicals in order to make the muscle fibers contract and then release again. And yeah, all that stuff just
What's
it
your
makes me
take
feel very
on
happy.
like the diets and stuff, like a keto diet? Have you tried any of those, or like you have a fucking degree in this shit now, which is fucking dope.
First,
What's
I
your
wouldn't necessarily say degree. Degree kind of implies college. I'm certified through the International Sports Science Association, the ISSA.
okay?
So it's not like a 4-year degree or anything. I took their courses. They're one of the top like 5 certified bodies and one of the best like internationally certified bodies. So if I ever want to work, somewhere overseas, somewhere foreign or something, my credentials transfer very easily to that.
Ah,
But I'm sorry, I totally lost track of the question. You're
that's
having me
totally fine.
talk about health stuff when I'm wasted.
I know. Well, I just was intrigued by that. I mean, I was just like, because I think people talk about the keto diet a lot. I just didn't know if you had an opinion.
Yeah, the diets. A lot of diets. I think a lot of people tend to use them mostly. Right? Why do you go on a diet? You want to lose weight.
Mhm.
I wish people thought about diets more in terms of like, hey, I want to revamp my eating and learn a couple of better habits for like the rest of my life. Like if more like holy crap, if everybody in America just ate the actual recommended serving of vegetables every single day, do you know how we could save so much money on healthcare costs, like just with that influx of vitamins that would be? Or like say if people went on a half-hour walk every single day, right? So I don't even like these diets can certainly help. For some people, they have a certain brain type that's like, hey, I'm on a program. This is perfect for me. I have structure. I have discipline. I'm ready to go.
Mhm.
But all of those diets end up working in vaguely the same way, right? Whether it's the keto diet, whether it's, if it fits your macros, um, whether it's carb cycling for different bodybuilder stuff, what it basically does is you're raising or lowering your body weight depending on how many calories you're taking in. And
Ah.
you're messing with your body composition based on the amount of macronutrients you're taking in. So your percentage of proteins, fats, and carbs. And you need all of those. So don't ever eliminate any one of those.
Yep.
Your body needs carbohydrates. Your brain runs on sugar. Your body needs sugar. It needs natural sugars that come from plants and stuff like that. Carbs are super important. Fats are incredibly important for almost every single aspect of your body, including transporting certain vitamins. About half of the vitamins we take in are water soluble, the other half are fat soluble. So if you're taking those vitamins without a fat source, they're passing right through your digestive system because they have nothing to carry them into your body. That's why you got to pay attention. If a vitamin says take with a meal, it means, take with something that's actually going to let you absorb that vitamin. Otherwise, you're just pissing it out.
Did you see yourself as an actor? You had said that you like. Was that the initial goal, like when you came to college or anything?
Mhm.
Like, was your goal to be an actor? But then during the time, because what I'm getting from our convo is just, I feel like I could never get fully into it. Did you just not feel like you were meant for it by the time after you were done with college, or when you moved to Minneapolis and then when you moved to New York, you're like, no, I'm still going to be an actor? Did you feel that way? I don't know
I
if that
think
question makes any sense, but
I think if this makes sense, I think I would still act if somebody wanted me to, like if
Mhm.
somebody asked me, but I wouldn't necessarily seek it out.
Okay.
I would say like that isn't necessarily my strength, but if you want me to do this, I will.
Got it.
It's you probably won't recognize the name, but it's the Henry Rollins approach. He's an old like punk dude, also a writer, Rollins band guy, um, who's just like he goes into everything with like, if I don't have the talent, I need to make for it in 100% effort. So like I will ruin your show, but I will sweat my balls off doing it for you.
Mm.
But after a while, yeah, it became clear that I don't know. They're just this is gonna sound really pigheaded, but there weren't a lot of shows that were saying what I wanted to be said.
Hmm.
So it's like as an actor, you're restrained by the words that you're
Yeah.
given to say, unless you're doing improv stuff.
Well, I think
Whereas
as
with
you being like such a big writer, you're writing the things that you want, and you're so acting in something that you're not into what they're saying. You as a writer, like I could write something that's going to say what I want to be out in the world, and not be a part of
exactly
something that I'm not into.
exactly like there are some wonderful memories I have. There was one teeny little like hour-long show that somebody did for a directing 3 class, which I would consider like the pinnacle of my acting career. It was Nick Grabowski's show, Someone Who'll Watch Over Me. And there were just like 2 nights where I nailed it and no performance was bad. So like that's the best that it's ever happened, right?
It happens that way though as an actor. Like
Mhm.
you're like, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling
Yeah.
it and I'm there. And I'm there the whole time. But
But
it doesn't happen on a regular basis all the time though.
no, and any other time, like it didn't happen, but there was still that glimmer. We're in like weird little things, like Carol Churchill's Love and Information, which is like 25 separate disconnected scenes that you can arrange in any order you want. And like, of course, Jay Chipman did it. So like, on the nights we're rolling giant dice and like having the audience roll dice to choose who's going to come down and do these like separate little scenes. So like everybody in the cast had memorized them. Like it's weird, it's new, it's not boring, it's not, like, oh my gosh, I'm watching a one act about a director trying to put together a wacky play full of people and it just all looks like it's going to go wrong. Oh my gosh. Like
There's so
just
many
don't
things.
do that
There's so many
again.
things just in the arts world. Like if you're talking about movies, theater, it's repetitive. It's all just
Mhm.
repetitive. And I think we're also getting to this new age of like content. People create things on the internet and you're creating
Mhm.
new work now. And the whole way media and art is, I think, is slowly changing into this other thing. People can create their own content, creating different shit and not another Broadway musical about something like, dude, we've fucking seen that. We've already seen that.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, people will come to listen. Like, yeah, you'll be closed in 3 months, but yeah, people come at first, I guess,
Mhm.
like whatever.
Absolutely. Everybody will come to the opening and
Yeah,
then it'll go away. And
yeah,
then
because it's not original. It's
whatever
always
new person you've gotten
it's
to fill
wild
your
to me.
leading actress role
Yeah,
will absolutely fade away because, that was her first big break and that's the first thing she did on Broadway and now you've killed her career.
it's wild to me that like when you have these big shows that are like so different, but it seems like we never pick up on that. We're like, yeah, it's big because it's not the same bullshit you've been doing for 20 years. So keep creating original and new content. But I think
Mhm.
some people think they're like, oh, this is original. I'm like, no, it's not. Like you change, like, no. You have one thing that was like, oh, that's a little different, but then it's the same premise, the same fucking thing.
Mhm.
It's frustrating. It's also like
He-
movies just remake old movies now.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you here's my pitch for a script I'm trying to get shopped around right now. I'm actually trying to. So again, I keep bringing him up. Eric Butler, love the guy to death. He's
I love
actually
it because
going.
he's probably never listened to one episode, doesn't even know who I am.
Absolutely not. Will not listen to this. Will not know I'm shouting him out at all. But he is going for like a master's in film right now, and he is just like into the experimental. Like if you're gonna have somebody to sit by you on a couch and watch a 4-hour movie of a possum decaying by the road, like shot over 5 weeks and then sped up to 2 hours and set to like a weird ballet soundtrack, like that is the guy to watch with you. So I'm trying. He's the one that's the most interested in this right now. But let me pitch this to you, okay? You tell me what you
Pitch to me.
think. So we have a man in the middle of a giant corporate space on stage, right?
Okay.
Around people in typewriters type away. In the background, a sign flashes again and again. Work is work. And all of a sudden, we have our main character walk out and he says, hey, my life sucks, but I live for one thing and one thing alone. I live for this man. And another man is wheeled out on stage, typing away, just a drone like all the others. And you find out that our main character is so obsessed with one of his coworkers. He has studied him, he has stalked him, he has absolutely written down his every movement. He knows what he will do every day. He has basically 12 different doctorates on his coworker. And you slowly find out through the show that he's just waiting for the one time that he can absolutely destroy this man's life. Because this man, long ago, did something slightly wrong to our main character. So this guy we love, we watch him destroy this other person. It's much inspired by the show that you and Eric Little did.
Lawrence and
Together.
Hallman. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that show.
Where it's just one man sort of trying to break down another. It's that sort of idea.
Like dark comedy type of show.
Absolutely dark comedy. And we flash through 3 different sections. Like in the first section, it's that sort of experimental theater thing where like all of the actors are also, sort of props. So like the 2 of them walk into a bathroom together and you have actors holding up cardboard urinals in front of them, and one of them doesn't have a pee stream going because he can't pee in front of other people. And then when the other guy leaves, they hold up another little cardboard bit and suddenly he's peeing now. And it's all little comedy like that. And suddenly for Act 2, we flash into like ultimate realism for a dinner scene where our main character is finally invited over for dinner with this man and his family. And he meets this man and his wife, and he meets their friends and stuff like that. And he finally finds a chance to make his plan unfold. And he does. And in Act 3, we see the fallout from it, arranged in, it's gone from non-realism to realism to hyper-realism. The stage is completely bare. All we have is one character versus another. It is dark. There is only light enough to see the 2 of them as you watch one man crumble into dust, and you watch the other question himself as to whether it was worth it or not.
Dude, you had me hooked. Fuck, I'll invest in that. I'll give you money for that.
Hey, there we go. It's a long elevator pitch, but if I can get you.
Elevator pitch. I can get you. No, that's great. I don't think that way. I couldn't think of a story like that. Like, I got a story about like me and my best friend, and like we like to drink, man. Like that's what's fucking.
No, you totally. I can take you through a story right now. Hold on, what's that? Could you get me the story circle thing on the billboard? I have a thing. Dustin, we're gonna write a story right now. Right after we go to our next section, which is number 6, the Newlywed game, which is gonna bring Betsy back over here anyway to sit on my lap as I give her a single little thing here.
Okay, so Dustin, I'm going to ask you a question, but you're answering in what you think Alex would answer.
So I'm going to answer the question
like I would say.
Got it. Okay.
So, Alex, describe in one word what you first thought of Dustin.
Okay.
All right. Question 2.
Alex, what do you think is Dustin's silliest fear?
Ooh. All right, I got it.
And finally, Alex, what do you think is Dustin's worst habit?
Oh, there's a lot to choose from.
So, Dustin, how do you think Alex described what he first thought of you?
Douchebag.
I actually went with small dick energy with 2 hyphens.
But you know what? I think they're kind of synonymous.
They are very close.
I think you get the point.
Yes, look at you. Point on the board. 1 of 3.
All right. Dustin, what did Alex think was your silliest fear?
Girls.
Ooh, I actually said success for obvious reasons.
All right, so you don't get that point, but that's okay.
Oh.
You got 1 out of 3.
1 out of 3. We still have a second. We still got the last one. We can still come away winners, Dustin. Don't worry, sweetheart. We can do it.
And finally, Dustin, what did Alex think was your worst habit?
I'm going to say acting.
Oh, I actually went with your writing of your pro Tuskegee experiment blog.
I fucked up there. I fucked up pretty hard.
I would say, well, you know what? We didn't win, but that was at least fun playing. So why don't we thank Betsy for being the host on today's episode of
Thanks,
the Newlywed Game on Drinks on Dusty. Number 9, in the hot seat, Dustin answers a hot question. Who, Dustin, do you let babysit your kids? Is it Mr. Michael Jackson or a Miss Casey Anthony? Let's remember, Michael Jackson raped a couple of boys, and Casey Anthony killed her infant daughter and hid the crime and is still walking free today. So Dustin, who do you let babysit your kids?
Because I definitely go Michael Jackson there, because they'll at least
And
be alive. They might be fucked up in the head, but they'll be alive.
there you go. Nobody's that fucked up from a finger in the pooper, am I right?
Jesus fucking Christ.
I'm glad you agree with me. And finally, number 10, possibly the drinks with what's the name of your podcast?
Drinks on Dusty.
Drinks on Dusty. Except oh goodness, I remember paying for my drink. Are you gonna reimburse me if the drink on Dusty?
Maybe if I find the episode's good enough. Now I just start to pay for people if I think the episode's good enough.
Number 10, even though it's number 9, we skipped, I think, number 7. The favorite question of the Drinks on Dusty podcast, possibly, if you would, the life's blood of the entire podcast. The one question that Dustin Sutliff truly feels exemplifies his soul. Number 10, Dustin, which domestic terrorist do you most identify with?
We are two different people. Why do you think two different people are like we innately get along though? But we are two very different people though.
I think a very shallow reason is I like being funny, and to what you were saying earlier, I think one of the best things for people that want to be funny is being around people that challenge them to be funnier. So I know if I come at you with some weak ass shit, like your mustache looks silly, it's like that's not gonna do anything, right?
Okay, loser.
But if I put in, if I put in a little bit of effort here,
True.
right, then I can fuck a little bit of shit up. So the greatness in other people brings out the greatness in you.
I gotcha.
Did I ever tell you, Cunard had Shakespeare's bed, right? Like something that might have been Shakespeare's bed.
Wait, what?
Like at Cunard's house, right?
Yeah.
When you went over there, he had Shakespeare's bed, like up in the tippy top, right?
Yeah.
Eventually. Did you ever lay on that naked?
No. Did you?
Yeah, absolutely.
How? What?
It's just during one of the Shakespeare get-togethers. Everybody.
You just say
better.
no one come in this fucking room right now. I'm gonna get on here naked.
No, I just got naked.
What? How does that? How? How do you come up with that? Like, are you just walking there and then you go, "Yeah, I'm about to get fucking naked right now." And then,
to be fair, I was thinking about.
There's a lot of people in that house at that time.
Oh, it was a full house. But I used to.
And you have no fear that Cunard's walking in, like, dude, he
when
fucking
does
naked.
Cunard go look at the Shakespeare bed during a party? When's he gonna walk upstairs?
I don't know, but the fear of that maybe happening would keep me from fucking ever doing it. But again, you have
He already
balls than I
called
do,
me
bro.
out I got notes from him on the last performance of that show. Okay, like Cunard could not. I couldn't do anything worse to him. So what the fuck? I was thinking about what Shakespeare would have wanted, and I was like, if Shakespeare were here, he would get naked.
He would
on
want me to
bed.
get fucking naked on this fucking couch right now. That's what he'd fucking
I
want.
got naked on the bed. Absolutely.
All right, I'm gonna do this stupid rapid shot segment with you, so I can have a wholesome fucking segment in here. Okay,
You do
ready
it.
for
I'm
this?
drinking water. I won't make it wholesome.
It's time for Rapid Shots.
What writer do you look up to the most and model after?
Ooh, probably Tracy Letts. I would say August Osage County is a beautiful example of a family falling apart in a realistic setting with some supernatural elements.
Beautiful. Favorite hobby?
Growing plants and taking care of cats.
Ooh. Favorite movie genre?
Horror or stupid stoner comedy.
I figured you were gonna say something like that. Describe Betsy in one word. Betsy is his girlfriend.
Just love.
Aw, it's fucking cute. Greatest mythical creature.
Ooh, okay. This is gonna be a weird answer. So
Yeah, I figured it would.
do you remember from your childhood the books called the Animorphs? Kids that could turn into
Yeah,
animals.
I remember. I never read them, but I remember
Mhm.
like seeing the pictures of them. But I was never like a big reader ever. That's probably
Yeah.
why I'm illiterate. But like, I remember seeing those and be like, oh, that's kind
Mhm.
of cool.
Yeah, it would be like a girl turning into an owl on
Yeah,
the cover, and
there's
like
a
if you
guy. He's
flip
a
the
he's a
book,
he's a wolf now. Yeah, I remember.
yeah.
I remember seeing those. Yeah, for sure.
So there was a weird little side character in there that was sort of a living god, and the author did like a 3-book spin-off of that, where that living god moved beyond the Animorphs realm and ended up being this sort of living entity that lived at the bottom of this ocean that covered an entire planet. And like the line between planet and creature started to blur,
Uh huh.
into there and into this idea of becoming a celestial being, a star child. I think I probably talked about 2001 A Space Odyssey earlier. So like the end of that where it's like a baby is born in space and suddenly it's all powerful. That's the sort of mythicality. Even if I don't get to be that, to be like, look at that giant baby ass up there, like something's going on.
Good. That was a good answer. All right. Favorite musician.
Ooh, Maynard James Keenan, the front man of Tool, A Perfect Circle, and Pussifer.
Ooh.
A Perfect Circle was my first concert. Tool was a concert that has blown my mind. I was lucky enough to take Betsy to a Perfect Circle concert where she got to experience the beauty of like the dude next to her going like, "Hey, I brought a joint and I lit it. Here, pass it on." Like that beautiful camaraderie.
I like that.
Yeah, he exemplifies a lot of what I try to do artistically with a statement that he made once, which is nobody was writing the climax, the orgasm where we wanted it to be. So we had to make music to fill that void. And it's like, yeah, that's why I want to write. I want to write to fill the stuff that's like I want this, but this is not here. There's got to be somebody like me out there that wants to come at this spot for this reason, right? I'm not that weird.
Go to drunk food.
Ooh, I love making pizza. No matter what, pizza is my go-to food for just about everything. Betsy bought me a pizza before tonight to prepare me for this drunkening.
To get ready.
Mhm.
What an amazing woman. Describe 2020 in one word.
Possibility.
What the fuck does that mean?
It means possibility is very, very
Oh, possibility. Okay.
Mhm.
I thought you said, I was like, what? Okay, gotcha.
No,
Possibility. I'm not
possibility.
that big of a dumbass. I'm like, you say possibility. I'm like, what's that word mean? You're like, okay, moron. Jesus.
No, I think there's great, like a lot of years, but especially this year, um, a lot of possibility for pride in humanity and a lot of possibility for shame in humanity as well. I think
There you
we've
go.
seen a lot of people that we can aspire to, and I think we've seen a lot of dregs that we would rather leave behind. And I think we can all start to recognize that and start to look at the points within ourselves that exemplify both of those characteristics, both the light and the shadow. Maybe we can move on, and next time this won't take such a drastic human toll on us.
Let's go, fucking Alex. Okay. Who's the best horror killer? I'm thinking like Freddy, Jason, like that kind of thing. Who would be your favorite horror film killer?
Oh, that's a really good question.
I know, dude. I was pretty proud
I
of
like
myself.
me
that
a
I put
horror
that in.
killer.
I know. I figured you would. See, I know people. I know my guess.
I am a Stephen King kind of fanatic. I have read most Stephen King books.
Okay.
Again, I talked about landscaping for a while. A big thing for me is audiobooks, so I've listened to a lot of Stephen King. I think It, the clown, Pennywise, whatever you want to call it, in the book series, especially when it's revealed to be this giant cosmic entity,
Mm-hmm.
when this is going to be a very, very niche pull for like a person and a half in your audience. But when it's finally revealed that the grand tortoise has vomited and choked, and suddenly humanity is on its own, and the greater correlations of that throughout the universe. I think it's a very big moment that pays off.
All right, last one from our Rapid Shots. All right, describe our friendship in one word.
Playful.
I like that one. That's Rapid Shots, everybody.
Boom. That's Rapid Shots with Dustin Sutliff, baby. Give him a round of applause. Even if you're alone, give him a round of applause. He deserves it for once in his life. Just applause dedicated to him.
Dusty's Drunken Thoughts, y'all. Here we go. Drunk ass. God damn it.
One of my drunken thoughts was, so if I had could pick what I could be, I would want to be a country singer. Did you have a movie pitch for that? Is that your whole thing?
Oh yeah, definitely. I was just waiting for the other ones.
Oh,
so
you want me to say all of them? Got it.
Absolutely.
Got it. Drunken thought number 2. I hate Facebook memories because all these memories, I'm like, what the fuck? Like half of them are just douchebag shit that I said on Facebook for some reason. I'm like, why? Why did I say that? It's just random shit that I said. It's like I would just be this sensitive, emotional person, and I go, I wish you would talk to me. And then like, that was your status? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You fucking freak. My other one is I don't like Ed Helms. I think Ed Helms is annoying as shit, and it's probably based off of when he took over the role in The Office as like the fucking boss for Michael Scott. I don't think he's a good actor. He annoys the shit out of me when he's in any movie or any show. Those are 3 of my drunken thoughts.
All right. I like number 2. It's definitely sparked something for me going off of our earlier brief discussion of both Jake and Logan Paul. So to begin with, we have a character played by Dustin Sutliff. He is a modern YouTube influencer, right? He is posting statuses every single day, right? And he is one of those big dudes that is like fucking full of shit, right? He's doing fake pranks and stuff. He's doing everything he can to like get the views up without actually putting out real content. And then suddenly, oh no, he's diagnosed with cancer. Suddenly he enters the unfamiliar world of like, oh shit, for once my life has actual problems and stuff. But he discovers on the offhand, like, oh shit, having cancer is really good for me. And he lets his greed sort of take hold of him for a while, to the point that he actually becomes invested in this sort of pseudoscience essential oil scheme of like, be the face of our brand, right? And we'll pay you to have, you know, the best chemotherapy treatment as long as you say you're getting all of your wellness from essential oils. So they're like, fuck yes, I get all my treatment paid, and at the same time, like, I'm making money on top of it. That's beautiful. So they get what they wanted, but then all of a sudden they're forced to go on a book tour of something that they did, and one of their stops is a hospital, like a children's hospital with kids that actually have cancer. And you see these mothers fighting with doctors that really want to help these children, and these mothers are pushing these essential oils on them, saying, I won't consent for you to treat my kid with anything except for what I say, because I know these are right, because this guy said so, and he's been brought in to see my children and make them happier. So that's what I want. And he realizes that all of this fame, this wealth is coming at the literal cost of lives. So he ends up coming clean, and he loses his entire sort of YouTube fame, and he ends up beating cancer, but at the end of it he's just sort of a normal person again, a little bit of a has-been on the world that is popular entertainment, already forgotten for the next thing coming around, but maybe lesson enough in his life to inspire a little change in his immediate world and make people care a little bit more in his immediate world.
Shit,
boom.
dude. Shit.
There you go. There's a movie pitch for you.
That was good.
And we will call it Dust in the Wind.
Oh. I like that. All right, Alex. Thank you for being on the podcast. I appreciate talking to you and everything.
Of course.
What's the last thing you want to say? Anything you want to say? People can follow you, look out for anything you want to say before we peace out.
I'm involved in a pseudo-scientific religious cult called the Voices from the Umbra movement. If it were anything but an incredibly realistic, scientific, religious-based cult religion, it would be a fictional podcast featuring voices from an Earth doomed to destruction, as well as a website featuring the one man and the one granddaughter that have heard those voices and are determined to get them to the mainland. Voices from the Umbra. It's a new podcast coming at you January 1st.
Shit. All right, yeah. So be on the look for that. Alex Wolfe will be doing that. He's dope as shit. Alex, again, you fucking rule, dude.
You roll, man.
You know, hopefully this was fun for everybody.
Absolutely.
Probably the weirdest episode I've ever done. But
I hope
everybody,
so.
you know, listen, like it, do all that bullshit the podcast needs. Peace out. Have a good one. Bye. Boom.